Alright, so now we're going to do an iced coffee. I need a cold cup instead of the hot cup. So I need about half of the cup full of ice. So not quarter of the cup, but half the cup full of ice. I'm going to put this right under the filter, and now I'm going to grind the coffee. We use the same coffee for our iced unless the customer explicitly requests something else. So we use this Panamanian coffee from a plantation called Casa Rui. It's roasted by Barrington Coffee Roasters, and we like it a lot for iced coffee. Some of the other guest coffees that come through don't taste so great iced. Some do, some don't, so we just do this for consistency on the iced coffee. Level scoop. I was a little over there, so nice level scoop. And then if you're on a truck, you're going to change your dial to the ice setting. If you're at a restaurant that's got two different grinders, you probably have one that's labeled iced. Make sure you're grinding to the right size though. We grind our hot and our iced coffee slightly different grind size. I'm going to go ahead and grind that coffee up. I'm setting myself up right there. And always double check that your pitcher is empty. So I just emptied it out, had some water in it. Even if that water seems hot, it's probably not the temperature you need, and it's going to bring down your water temperature in your pitcher. So you really need this to be a minimum of 205 degrees. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a couple tablespoons of water onto the ground. Very similar to the hot coffee at this stage, just about the exact same thing. And while I'm going to give this about 20 seconds, while that's happening, I've got a few coffees on I'm just going to throw on. Alright, so I'm at Harvard Square and we're in the middle of breakfast, so I've got a few coffees I have to throw on. I've given this about 20 seconds, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly pour the water in the center. So this is, again, still the same as the hot, but what's different is with the hot, the filter cone restricts the flow of the water, so we bring it all the way to the top. With the iced, we're restricting the flow with the pitcher, so we're not going to bring it all the way to the top. I'm going to bring it so that it's a stream that's a little bit faster than a drip, but not a full stream. And that's about right, and I'm going to let that go for a few seconds. Alright, so I'm back to my ice. The drip has slowed down, so it's ready for a little bit more water. So again, right down the center, nice and slowly. I'm going to bring it up. It's like a stream, but you can sort of almost see the drops in between. So it's not a heavy stream. It's like a very light stream. It's a little more than a drip. And if I'm doing this right, the color of this coffee is it's like a nice dark color. If I'm doing it wrong, it might look light and sort of reddish. Again, it's slowed down to an actual drip now, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. And that's how the iced coffee progresses. You just continue to add a little more and a little more and a little more. And beside this, don't get confused, I've just got 4 hot coffees on. But this is the one we want to watch for the training right here. And just past that drop, so it's nice and slow. What happens, I'm going to shake this a few times. That's to move the ice cubes around. And if we do this just right, we'll end up with coffee that's like room temp or maybe a little cooler than room temp, and maybe like one little ice cube floating in it. That's the ideal. The ice cubes are there to bring the temperature of the coffee down really quickly, so it doesn't spend a lot of time in those intermediate temperatures. That keeps the flavor really like nice and crisp. It keeps you from having like muddy flavors, and it's a funny thing, if coffee spends too much time in that heat transition, it doesn't taste so great. So that's why we want it pouring onto ice. And again, I don't get confused, I'm pouring hot over around here. This is the ice right in the center. I'll put a little bit more on the ice. So I'm bringing it up just a little bit above the midline. I've got like 2 ice cubes left in there. It's just about perfect. And it's almost done right now. So just like with the hot, I'm going to get a dump ready. It's just this time it doesn't go all the way to the brim. It just goes just above the midline. That's looking really good. So right now is the time I want to pull it. And I'm going to hold this up So you can see that level is just above the midpoint. It's got like a nice dark color to it. I fill it with ice, and the ice brings it up to the top, and that's the iced coffee.